So there's been a crazy amount of hype over a new product Govee teased at CES earlier this year, and I must admit I've been anxiously waiting for this day to arrive because in my mind it really does have the potential to be a huge success. Enter the all-new IP65 waterproof Govee curtain lights. Opening things up, you have the welcome information, different mounting options, some screws, the individually adjustable string lights, and the power supply. Now as I begin to untangle things, you can start to get a better feel for how this is set up. You have your main top wire that then branches out to each strand that will hang towards the floor, and when set up, this will approximately be 1.5 meters wide by 2 meters tall with a total of 520 LEDs. So they do give you a few different options to get these mounted, and I played around with some of the clips they provide, but since I'm just planning to put these on my wall, I honestly feel the easiest and cleanest way to go is to simply use some 3M removable strips and forego any of the options they include with the kit. And by doing it this way, it made the installation process about as easy as it can get. Now I recently made a video going over how to put a very long strand of LED lights around your room, so I'll be attaching these to the wall directly under the diffuser channels I used for that project. As I'm putting these up, there are a couple of very important things I want to touch on. So even though I only have the space for one unit, you are able to connect up to 3 of these together, and there will be specific animations that can take advantage of the full canvas. But you wouldn't actually physically connect them together, and this leads me to the most exciting part. Govee, through their app software, would be able to virtually connect all 3 displays together, which is a huge deal because I have to imagine this means at some point they'll be able to do the same thing with their Govee M1, allowing you to run as many of those strips in a row but creating one long animation via software connection. I have no idea if this is coming to the M1, but being that they're able to do something similar here with these curtain lights, I really hope it is something they're working on. So I wanted to quickly zoom in and go over one thing that'll be a little bit more evident when I get these fired up. Since the wires are very flexible, even though the string itself is pretty much straight up and down, the individual diodes are still going to be pointing in slightly different directions. This will result in subtle variations in terms of how things look when turned on, because some LEDs will be pointed slightly more towards the wall and some will be facing more outwards. I suppose you could somehow secure each strand to the wall the exact same way to achieve an even glow throughout, but I'm not sure it would be worth taking the time to do that. Once you have them turned on and connected, hopefully you can see what I was just trying to explain and how the light does look slightly different from each pixel depending on the angle it's positioned, which kind of makes the camera look a little bit out of focus even though it's not. Now one thing I like about Govee is that even though they have many different products, they try their best to keep the app layout pretty much the same, so it should look all very familiar if you've ever used any of their other offerings. The color tab is pretty self-explanatory and allows you to change all 520 LEDs to the same color. Here is also where you have the finger sketch, which I'll go over a little bit later. Moving on to scenes, and I would highly recommend checking this section out first. They have many different preset animations you can choose from. Some are for sure better than others, but there really are quite a few that I can definitely see myself using on a regular basis. And the couple that stood out the most to me ended up being the sunset, bubbles, the planet, the moon, the meteor, and the rocket. Now I'm probably going to spend the most time on the music functionality because I think this did end up being my favorite part. Not only do the lights respond to sound, the animations also will adjust depending on how loud or quiet that sound is.
Test. 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 Check. 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 Hello? Check. Check. Check.
And another thing that's awesome is you can go into each sound react option and adjust the colors being used so that you can customize it to fit in with any theme you might have going on in your room.
Check. Test. Test. Check. Check.
Charity events, pay for jets to make the news. And don't forget, if you're gonna come, everybody's cool. Referencing the book to fit the view, it's all you.
So I definitely love the sound react functionality built into the lights, and in my opinion, it is one of the best features of the product. I want to now quickly go over the finger sketch program. This allows you to use your imagination to basically create anything you want by giving you complete control over every single one of the 520 LEDs. Now, I probably don't have the patience to create any masterpieces myself, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who will be able to come up with some amazing designs, so for sure spend some time playing around with this feature. And last but not least is the DIY mode. This is another great feature where you can pretty much create any animation you can think of. There's so much you can explore here, but I'll play a couple of my favorite ones that I was able to put together so you can get a better idea of some of the things you can do in this section. And as these continue to play, I want to start wrapping things up. There's no doubt in my mind that Govee is going to sell a crazy amount of these curtain lights because I can see them appealing to so many different people. Some might have a massive wall in their space that they want to bring to life and will opt to connect 3 of these together for one huge canvas. I can see kids loving this in their bedroom, and I know a lot of gamers will want to add this to their setup. I also think there's going to be a huge demand from traveling DJs to incorporate this into their set from gig to gig, and then of course there's the outdoor and holiday aspect that many more people will want to put these up for. So only time will tell if my assumptions are correct, but after playing around with these for about a week, I really do think they're here to stay, and I'm sure we can expect many more variations of these down the road from Govee. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll leave you with a few more final videos of these in action.